Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Last time we stopped at the okay, right here. I think we stopped somewhere. Maybe. Where do we stop?
Let's see, which one? I think Jimmy was the last to read.
Yeah, we done
Always
this
pursued
one.
by enmity, I think. 3 unfortunate realms. No, we did 3 unfortunate realms. Very twisted views. Maybe
We
no.
also we talk about the twisted view also, right? We talk about the no boat. We on hand to pass one across the water. I think.
I think we talked about it the week prior to that when it was you and I, and then Jimmy and Dudley joined last week, and we went back over the 20.
Oh,
But
we
maybe
didn't.
Dudley can help because I don't think we did the boat one yet, but I could be wrong.
Okay, that's okay. Okay. No boat. It's on hand to pass. One across the water. What do you think? The water of the 5 deadly sin.
Oh yeah, we did go across that one. We did go over that one. Yeah.
Birth and death go on endless and no limit. This is gain. To this gain, right?
To this is gained. Yeah. I'm not sure if we went over that one or not.
Yeah, okay. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
Okay.
Then we can stop for this. What do you think about this?
Yeah, that unless we achieve the state of arhat or higher, that we're still compelled by our karma and by our consciousness to be reborn in whatever form is suitable to those two. And there may be times in lives where we really enjoy ourselves and we really like it and never want to die, but then there'll be also many times where we're suffering terribly and wish it was over, and that cycle will just keep repeating itself.
So, Arahat or Patika Buddha, or what about Bodhisattva? They still enjoy the birth and death cycle.
Yeah, Bodhisattva. I mean, they are reborn because of their vows, and I don't if they chose, kind of by definition, they're a bodhisattva because of their great vows to help living beings. So they would not choose to not be reborn, because then they wouldn't be able to help living beings. But the context for them has changed because of their vows. They're intentionally being born. And so it's not like they're just subject to it anymore. They've transformed the way that they look at the world. It's no longer difficult situations are no longer a cause of suffering. They're a cause for the either development or the demonstration of virtue.
So okay. So the difference between the common people and the sentient being and the bodhisattva is the sentient being like us. We are controlled by the karma, the power of karma that we pray, and also the consciousness. So the two criteria that will that will control us in the rebirth realm. The consciousness That means the current consciousness, and that means the current state of consciousness, and the power of the karma, right? Do you understand the truth, right?
Yes.
Okay. Most of the time, we've been controlled by the power of the karma, not the consciousness. Usually, our consciousness is become that we are in the state of the dream, right? We do not know what we are doing. But only time is when we have the good advisor that will help us on the near death situation and give us the strong faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. This will become very strong for the consciousness, and this consciousness will control the power of the karma. It will take the power of the karma, go in their way, right? So that's good. But the Bodhisattva is different. They also have karma, the power of karma, but they also have the power of the vow. So the vow become more stronger, and they will take in the lead of that is the important factor for guide the death and rebirth cycle. In the death and rebirth cycle for the Bodhisattva to fulfill the vow, right? This is important. So when we make the vow, and usually the vow will be the one lead us to the death and rebirth cycle. And that will put us into the situation that we have an environment to fulfill our vow. Does that make sense, right?
Yes, Tang.
Oh, good. This morning, my teacher, when he gave a short lecture to the assembly, to the audience, and he saw one of the very interesting video. There were the firefighter team, and one of the men in there, he the father of a son. Is a son is a 10 years old son, and his son is love to do firefighter, to become a firefighter, even though he only 10. His dad also give him, I think, buy the firefighting suit for him to wear and the hat or something like that. So, and you know what? Because his birthday today is his birthday, and he took his son to the fire station and put him on the firefighter truck, right? And the boss, his father boss, come out. He saw that and said to the father, say, you should not bring your son here. This is not where he belongs. Okay, so because this is because we have an important task. And the father said, oh, today is his birthday. That's why he loved to become the fighter later on. And that's why I bring him here. Well, the boss said, okay, but next time do not bring him here. Okay. And the son went home, right? The son went home. On the way home with the bike, he saw there is the fire burst out in the house, one of the house, and he opened the house and he went into the house, right? He went into the house. He tried to rescue the people or whatever. And later on, he went to the fire station. That way his father is currently right there. And he told his father that I saw the fire burning the house on the side of the street. Where I went to, I passed by, right? And the father said, okay, let me, so the father told the captain that, okay, he going to lay a fire that, and he said that his son told me that, and the captain said that, why you listen to the boy 10 years old? And the father insists that, well, my son, they said they are fire, it will be it's really a fire. So he don't joke around. So and the father rode the truck and come to the house. And before he rode the truck, right, the son jumped into the truck and sit nearby him, right? And okay, and the father took him there. And when the father get up and he pulled the hose, the fire hose, to spray water, and he asked his son, you go ahead and start the water, open the valve for the water to run, so I can use it. Okay, so that means the son right now he actually doing the fire work, firefighter work, right? And fighter team, they went into the house and they brought some of the people in the house. And you know what? After the son told the father that okay, and later on when he turned back and he did not see his son anywhere, and you know what? And one of his co-worker told him that when they opened one of the bed that cover the dead people, right? And that is the son. You understand the story?
Yeah, you're saying the son died the first time he went into the house, and that when he came to tell his father, he was actually dead at that point?
Yeah, that he already dead.
Yeah.
But at that time, the father did not know he dead.
So the father, this is like a true story?
Yeah, it is true story.
Wow, so the father experienced the boy as coming to him and thought he was his son alive,
Yeah,
and was able to converse with him and get information about where the fire was, and then go, wow, that's wild.
this is very tough to believe. Even though in the spiritual realm, right? In order for the person who died, who passed away, for them to be able to gain the physical body, it's not easy. Once they lose the body, they cannot be able to use the body because their mind is totally they already escaped, they already left the body, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means this person should have a very strong mindset of concentration. It's very strong will of that mindset to be able to control the body for a short time to finish the task that he want to finish.
Mm.
You understand, right? It's not easy.
Well, but so he was, but he wasn't like, he wasn't in his body anymore, right? He died in the burning house, and then his father experienced seeing him, and he could like, he
But
could
they
interact.
see, but they see him just like the real person
Yeah.
because he put the hat on his head.
Huh. And he was, but he didn't go back in the house the second time he went there. He just disappeared.
He just disappeared, and that happened. That is his body right there in the bed.
His body was already, and it was recovered from the house, from inside the house.
Right. And when they took the
Yeah.
body out, they already put into the bed. That's why the father did not know that was his son.
Gotcha. They took the bodies out before the fire was put out.
Yeah, because they actually they went in, they tried to rescue as many people they can, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the body it's his son.
Wow.
So what did it mean to us in Buddhism? For the normal, the common people, even for the one it's um the one who passed away, and they can, if they are not yet reborn, right? They will stay here in the limbo state for a long time, without being able to have the material body. Not easy to have a human body. But in Buddhism, this is what we think. I think if one of the Buddhist lay person bring this up to me after we shared the Dhamma about the flower adornment sutra. And I think his point is very valid. He said that this is maybe due to the past. He's the one who made the vow to rescue people. And this is what we call bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, regardless who they are, religion doesn't matter. They can be in any religion, can be in any kind of form, right? Human, animal, whatever. And because his vow maybe becomes so strong, so focused on rescue people. Therefore, that vow helped him to be able to use the body temporarily to complete the task, to fulfill the vow. Actually, he risked his own life to save people. And now, after he died, he still be able to use that told his father to come and help the people in the house. It's amazing. This is also know that life after death is still there. Nothing is gone forever. Anyway, reincarnation in Buddhism, that also gives us something like that. Okay. But we know that, okay, there are three criteria: vow, consciousness, and power karma. Does that make sense to you? That?
Yes, I.
Okay, so that's interesting. So lion and bird in Buddhism, yes, it's very scared, right, to us, and because we don't know where we go after we die. But if we have be able to we know how to generate the bodhicitta, and also know how to make the vow. The power of the vow will protect us. The power of the bodhicitta will protect us. That's why when inside the flower adornment, when the Buddha compare the deed, that all the good deed non-comparable with the Bodhisattva initially resolve the bodhicitta at the beginning. All the good deed accumulated of the Arahat or Patika, whatever they are non-comparable. So later on, when we learn about this story, and we go down to and I don't want to go jump to the end, but anyway, and we will learn more into that. Okay. So yes, when we so one, in order to for the Bodhisattva, the vow will guide death and rebirth cycle. So there is no problem with that, and they never fall into the three evil realms. The Buddha guaranteed that if we have the vow and the bodhicitta, even though sometimes, right, actually the king Ajatasatru at the end, he the one already resolved the bodhicitta in one of the Buddha past life, right? So since then he never fall into the hell. That means countless lifetime he never fall into it. Even though now he commit the heaviest deadly sin, right? But he still not go to the hell because the bodhicitta, the power of that bodhicitta, help him to connect with the good advisor as well the Buddha. Therefore, that's why that is the benefit that we need to remember. 15. When no karma is performed, there is no result to follow. You know what does that mean?
What's would be the the law of karma, that if we do some beneficial action for other people, then we'll receive blessings in the future. If we do something that harms others, we'll receive a sort of equivalent harm. But if there's no karma performed, if one's simply like an arhat who is devoid of desire or sense of self, then there's not a sort of karmic retribution that occurs. There's just, I think that's, for an arhat, that's what leads to the state of being in nirvana, where they're no longer like, well, maybe they can realize nirvana even before their karma is exhausted. So maybe that's not accurate.
But their karma that they prayed before they attend the Arahat is still there. Mm-hmm. They don't go anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. What about the Bodhisattva? They always do all the good deeds. Do you consider them to create the karma?
Yes, I would think so. That karma, meaning action, and that any action is going to have a consequence.
Yeah, action of the mind, the mouth, and the body. That's what the karma. And from these three karma, we create 10 good deeds or 10 bad deeds, right? For the common people, doesn't matter we pray good or bad, always in the death and rebirth cycle. When we pray good deed, we go to the good realm. We pray bad deed, we go to the bad realm. But that's still in the cycle of death and rebirth. But the difference between the common people and the Bodhisattva, yet Bodhisattva pray all the good deeds. But why they don't call the karma in the term of karma? Because they do not attach to the result. When they pray karma or the good deed to help to benefit living beings, they never have any attachment to it. So that won't consider the term karma is in general, but that is different from the Bodhisattva. They don't expect the result, right? But the result is still there. Even though you don't expect it, but the result, because the law of the karma, the law of the cause and effect is always there. You attach it or not, it's still there. Okay. So yes, in order for us to get out the birth and death cycle, we should not perform any karma. That means the karma in the term of attachment. When we do good because we want to have a good result. That is the mindset of the karma. In this day, what they're talking about. But when we pray karma, but we have no expectation, no attachment to the result, then this is not applied. Okay, number 16, no person come about to order for what oneself have oneself done. What do we understand from here?
And this is
do you understand this thing? Number 16.
Not really. No force come about to the other. For what one happens, oneself. Oh, that means whatever we did, we get that karma, not other people. Like that thing because they say no push so to the other. For what have oneself done. So we saw what we get. We
Mm.
get what we saw.
Yeah, that's right. So, for example, if we don't eat and other people eat, do you think we can have food stomach? No. Right, William? Is that what he said? Right.
Yeah, or that, the other suggestion I think is that in common ways, someone else can't save us.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else's actions being good can't make up for ours being bad. Which is interesting given the main story of this sutra with the king being saved from ending up in the hells.
But is that contradict you just said? What the Buddha teaching?
Yeah, I think that's consistent with the Buddhist teaching. That ultimately, I mean, someone can certainly help us and make it easier, but we still make choices. And so if we continue to make bad choices, well, then no matter how good someone else's choices are, it's not going to prevent us from getting the fruition of our bad choices. But King Ajatasatru is deeply repentant, and he wants to atone. So I think that's kind of maybe the difference there.
Yeah, even though the Buddha have the most powerful, right? Very powerful. He can help all living beings. But if the Ajatasatru, he did not believe in Buddha, he did not come forward. Buddha cannot help him. Buddha cannot help everyone, but he can only help the one he have affinity with. So, okay. Okay, number 7. Go ahead, William.
Without the cause of bliss, there cannot be the result of bliss. Seems pretty straightforward. That in this case, like bliss, it depends like what word they're translating from, how they mean bliss, because is it bliss of like seeing the essential nature that is not exhaustible, or is it bliss that's like a temporary mental state from some sort of relief from some other strain on the mind that will eventually pass? But either way, whatever sort of bliss they're talking about, there's a cause that brings it about. So we can't expect the cause of bliss if we don't cultivate. We can't expect the result of bliss if we don't cultivate the causes.
Yeah, that's like the law of cause and effect, right? If you don't plant the seed, you don't get a result. Hmm. Now go ahead, do number 18. Yeah.
Yes, 18. Once the seeds of karma is sown, the result will not be lost. So let's say if we do good thing, no matter what happened, the good thing will go back to us, not this lifetime or the next lifetime, maybe many more lifetime. The same thing happen, do the bad thing. We may got the bad result, maybe this lifetime or next lifetime or any lifetime. So
Wow.
so I see
But how do we explain that in the scientific?
so so for okay, because okay, so for like right now, lifetime, if we plant a tree, obviously a lemon tree, obviously we will have the lemon. But let's say a person who decides to plant like some like shady tree, even though this life he will not be able to get the shade, but but other people around him, maybe his next generation, his son, his daughter, will have the victory to play around, to enjoy the stage.
Yeah. Okay. So but they said that nothing get lost. Right? The result we did it, and we will not get lost. That means definitely will produce the result. So how do we explain this thing in the scientific? So let me. What do you think, William?
Yeah, scientifically, you can see that, if we just look at the immediate, when we talk about karma over lifetimes and it being associated with like returning to the alaya consciousness that was associated with its, like returning to the consciousness associated with the alaya, because right through lifetimes, the parts that survive are like the manas and the alaya. And so in future lifetimes, even though we don't remember the lifetime where we created the karma, there's some sort of way for it to return back to the consciousness that originated it. So that mechanism, I think, is very hard. We don't know how to describe. We can say the seeds of the karma are imprinted in the laya, but that's a pretty big picture description. Whereas if we look at something like a simple force equation in physics, if I push on the wall, like the wall pushes back on me.
Yeah.
If I am in space and I eject material out one direction, then it's going to propel me the opposite direction. So we can see in like these mechanical principles that when we take some sort of action, it creates a consequence of force, and that we experience that consequence. Whatever produced the force experiences that consequence. And usually in life we see these patterns repeating, where on a small level we'll see a pattern, but then we'll also see that same pattern on the big level. Like if you look at bones under a microscope, well, they look like the distribution of galaxies in the universe. Or if you look at like the way that like fractals show up in nature, there's a lot of patterns. Like the way our blood vessels branch is very reminiscent of how rivers branch or how trees branch. So when we see this suggestion in, say, physics about how every action has a reaction, it makes sense that on the level of consciousness and intention, that kind of if I'm in a pool and I ripple water, and that water is going to ripple and bounce off the edge and kind of come back. So it kind of makes sense that there could be something similar in the realm of intention and consciousness.
And we see that in the hospital, when we see they put the device on the brain, you see the brain wave, right? And they can also measure the sound wave as well. It's in the form of the wave, right? So the energy in the form of the wave, and also all the things we move, right? It would generate some form of wave energy. What does that mean? It means that right now, let's say that we record this thing, right? We all die. And 10, 20 years later, our children, the new generation, the young generation, they be able to somehow they come across and they be able to hear the video that we recorded for many years. So the sound wave that we record in the past is still there. They don't get lost. But even though that we don't have the recording, that means the sound wave we speak, it will be somewhere in the space. The record is just the container, it will hold it into one place. But if we don't have that kind of medium, then it will be in the form of the space. I come across, I try to listen to the quantum physics to understand what is quantum physics. This is the quantum physics. At the time that Albert Einstein, he a very genius and number one in the, I think it's at that time he was the one who be able to correct the Isaac Newton law, and he came up with the relativity, right, theory. But when he come to the quantum physics, he stuck. And most of the famous prominent physicists, they do not understand why. In the quantum physics, there is two forms. One is the wave form, and one is the particle form. Because all phenomena is play of particle, right? Just like our body, we play from our body cell, right? All the things that we see, they come with the sub-atom. Even the smallest atom is still considered a particle. That particle is create the matter, create reality. The way it's the waveform is just a communication. And so what they do is they do not understand they two particles. They are separate, apart, right? If one of this have a certain behave, instantly the other particle have the same behave, but there is no link in between. And the distance of the two particles have the same behavior. Even the distance, you can separate them a billion miles, but they still be able to have the same behavior instantly. This is what they call the quantum entangle. Quantum entangle. That's what they don't understand. What that make the two be able to communicate. But anyway, later on they do. The reason I bring this up is we understand the consciousness is just in that form, nothing else. The consciousness is the waveform, as well as the particle. The particle of the consciousness is, let's say that inside out we have reach, we have anger, the seed of greed, seed of anger, seed of foolish, right? Delusion. Right now, we don't get angry, but doesn't mean that we do not have the seed of anger. But once someone triggers, right, it will bring the seed of the anger in the alaya consciousness, and it will transform it and manifest it to become the anger. They call the mental formation. So the mental formation of the anger is created by all this particle of seed of anger. And from the mental formation of anger, we also see the physical anger from our body, from the face, from the body, it's shaking, right? So from the alaya consciousness, we do have that true form right there. And this thing exists in the universe. It's not only within our body. They are interrelated. So when we say something or when we do something, we will generate the waveform. And that waveform can be in any kind of medium. Can be in the MP4 or can be in the space or whatever. Those things get lost. That's why scientists, what the scientists say, nothing get lost in this universe. Then nothing get lost. They only recycle. For example, the element that create the cup, right? The foam cup. One day decompose, they will return back to their nature. And that nature of those things will you help to create a different thing. So nothing gets lost. That's why we have the concept of recycle. They be able to decompose it and to be able to isolate the specific element inside for the element from the periodic table. Do you think they can do that, right? They can be able to go through and decompose it to the point that they can be able to use those criteria to be able to create different things. So nothing gets lost in the universe. So the Buddha said it more than 2,500 years ago. Now the science be able to understand it. They way behind of the Buddha teaching, but it's okay. It's better than nothing. Yeah. I hope my explanation gives some. I don't confuse you. I hope.
Oh, no, Tay.
Okay. Number 19. William, go ahead. 19.
Ignorance calls forth life, and by it one dies. So, when we think about the 12 links, this is described in there, that there's in the setting of ignorance, one engages in activity, and that's like the seed of birth. It's part of it. Well, it's a whole circle, so they're all interdependent. And by it one dies. So, and this makes me think of is like the ignorance of the true nature of self. So we're ignorant to the true nature, so we identify with the form, with the 5 skandhas: form, feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness. And so when those die, then we experience a death because we identify with those. If we had no ignorance and we experience those merely as phenomena within, like it's put in the Surangama Sutra, the matrix of the thus come one, well, then it would just be sort of a rising and falling of a wave. It wouldn't really be, we wouldn't experience it as a death. So that's what I think about when I read that and see that.
You remember what make we have the existence?
Well, karma is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And right, there's ignorance and then activity. If we're talking about the 12 links of origination, right?
You remember the Buddha, the life of the Buddha, when the Venerable Sariputta, before he became the Buddhist disciple, he met the Venerable Ajatasatru, and Venerable Ajatasatru say very simple word that make him enlightened.
No, I don't know what Ajatasatru said.
The Venerable Ajatasatru, he the one of the first 5 disciples of the Buddha.
Okay, one of the ascetics that he practiced with.
Yeah. And the Sariputta asked that because when he looked at the way the Venerable Ajatasatru walked and his compose, it's really beautiful and very mindful, right? And impress him, and that's why he want to come and learn from this venerable. But before he learn, he want to sit down and provide a seat and also sit there quietly, wait until the venerable eat the lunch, right? Consume the meal. After that, he asked the venerable Asati that, who is your teacher? And what did you learn from your teacher? May I come and see your teacher? And Asati said that, well, I just became a monk. I don't know much, but my teacher, what my teacher teach me. Due to the cause and the condition, they exist. When the condition is end, exhausted, then that is what that come to see. That come to see, right? Does it make sense?
You said that come to seed or seed?
C-E-A-S-E.
Oh, cease. Okay, cool.
That means life and death. Existence, it means birth, life, right? See, that means death. But it's that is not truly die, truly death. It's just the cause and the condition create that. And we attach to it. That's what we call die and death. And you know what? The ignorant call for life. That means we stuck in the cycle of death and rebirth due to the ignorance. As long as we still have ignorance, that is the cycle. That's called life, and therefore called death, right? That's what they call. Let me see. Ignorant call for life, and by it one die, right? If you don't have life, you don't die. That's why the one who attend the Dharma, Arahat, they know birth, because when the cause and the condition continuing come and continuing die, they watch that thing without attachment. Therefore, those things no longer apply to them. This is important. That's what the Buddha said, that yes, even though the Arahat, right, when they meditate, they will see the continuous stream of cause and condition arise and see. But we don't attach to it. We just might be mindful about it. This is help us to be able to get out of the death and rebirth cycle. That means no ignorance. But we are ignorant. That's why we do not see it. We do not be able to contemplate and see it, be aware of it. We're still in the cycle. You move on. Nơi gần xong. Không có đạt nữa. Đạt. Giờ dạy kèm mấy đứa nhỏ. Mới học mấy lần. Mới học mấy lần. Nữa cũng ok. Yeah. Cũng 20. Mấy người. Không. Không, đâu có nhóm nào đó thầy. Cái nhóm đâu cũng người cũ. Không có gì đến chút rồi con gọi để cho thầy. Gọi. So that's why it Okay, let's do 20. Dak, go ahead. Dak.
Yes. What one has over the three times of past, present, and future is in dollars. In dollars.
Okay, go ahead.
What one has over the three times past.
Để gì chút con gọi. Đang dạy tôi đang dạy. Con dạy. Cái 10 phút. Okay, go ahead.
So if I think they're talking about we should not just if we just keep like living in the past and the future, but not in the present, we will be like adolescents because people live in the past. They don't want to move on. The people living in the future, they just keep dreaming about future. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, what do you think, William?
Yeah, this one, to me, I wonder if it could be translated another way too, because indolence is sort of like laziness, lack of correct action, and kind of apathy, like not really even noticing that there's a lack of correct action. So there being like an element of ignorance to it. One has over the past, so what one has over, I think that could mean different things in English, because like if I have something over someone, like I can hold something over their head. If I know something they did wrong, then I could be said I have that over them. Or what I have over this period of time could be like, what do I possess? Like whether qualities or things I possess. So it makes more sense that it's the like has over the 3 periods of time. Like what does one possess through those 3 periods of time, being indolence. And so the way I think it means is that if we're seeing the past, present, and future as real, well, that's a state of indolence. Where if we're truly present, there's no thought of the future, or there's no idea that the future is real, the past is real, or that even the present is real. Because if we're truly present, those concepts, we see them just as concepts, as phenomena in and of themselves, not truly descriptive of what's happening. So to dwell in these concepts of the past, present, and future is kind of a form of laziness. Like in the Zen tradition, in Zazen, there's that being so completely present. There's the direct experience of what is without the thinking about it. And as thoughts arise, they're just distinguished and relinquished. So I could see how that could be lazy if we're living in our story, which involves the past, present, and future.
Do you know why we cannot focus?
I would think because of like the momentum of habits. If we've been practicing habits of jumping around from thing to thing, then we've built that pattern. So when we go to focus and then those patterns kick in, then they kind of pull us away from the focus. If we haven't practiced maintaining attention on one thing, then it takes time to
the reason we have the monkey mind, right? Because our mind always lean on the past or lean on the future, right? This is where we monkey, right? We cannot focus. We cannot not do much thing. And also in Buddhism, anything if we link on one of these three, it means duality. So that means this is the fourth thought, and the fourth thought will make us away from the truth, the pure mind. And the whole purpose of the practice is we do not, so when we do the meditation, we don't have those have thought linking about the past or the future, even the present, right? We don't have the concept of the present, but we be mindful. Doesn't mean that we have concept of the present. As long as we have any notion of the time, because in Buddhism there is no time, there is no space, because those things you remember in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha said that when he and his assembly, right, sit in the meditation throughout the 50 small car paths. And once car path is very long. It's a long period of time. Or even though the Buddha said that they, the Arahat or the sickly one, they can be able, the lifespan, they can, one day, they can stretch to the lifespan to be very long, or they can make the long lifespan into one day. That means they are free from that. As long as we don't have the notion or the concept of those things, we can be able to freely use those things. But when we stuck into that, we be bound by that, we cannot free. We are tied, not free. Right. So so the time it's no relevant here. That will make us suffer. Okay, so well, before we stop, Doug and William, any question? You want to discuss more?
No, Thầy, thank you.
Doug, how about you?
No, I'm good. I just was talking about when we're done. I just want you to send me the password for laptop. I fix this. I need to update.
Hả?
Cái laptop con sửa xong rồi nhưng mà con cần phải update nó.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let me send you the password here.
Yeah. Con sửa xong rồi cái touchpad nó work nhưng mà cái nút nó hơi không work thì cùng lắm mình xài con chuột.
Okay, here. You see the password right there?
Yes, I see. Yeah. Thank you, thầy.
Okay, rồi, thank you. Let close the lecture. Okay, Doug, go ahead.
May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with her of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and heart can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to raise compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward, may all who sorrow lead their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turn into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Okay. Okay. Namo Buddhaya. Thank you.
Namo Buddhaya Phật.
So next week we will off for 1 week, I guess. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.